Today is the day of all days. The time has finally come. The time for reckoning, Judgment Day, it's here. And I'm the judger.
Yes.
I'm the judge. Totally messed that up. And I'm ready to condemn these mother freaking MLMs. But before we get into that, hi. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, you will soon. Today, we're going to be doing a video that I am so excited for. I've been wanting to do this for a very long time. I've compiled probably the best list of MLMs. I created the tiers as well. So we're gonna go through and we're going to rank. This is the ultimate showdown. This is the ultimate ranking of MLMs or multi-level marketing companies. Let's go ahead and show you guys the rankings that we have. At the very bottom, which is honestly the worst ranking that you can be in, it's called you fat/ugly in the direct messaging or in the DMs, and now only talks about money and the MLM despite despite them not having moved up in 2 years. I don't know why that was so difficult for me to say. That's honestly the worst ranking that you can be in. That goes without saying. I mean, read that description. You don't want to be in that ranking. Next up, we have bullied you in high school and now thinks they're an influencer giving nutritional advice with no credentials. And listen, I had kind of a little bit of a fight with myself trying to decide if I wanted the bullied you in high school tier to be the last one or vice versa. And I decided that it's honestly worse to be kind of delusional and also calling people fat and ugly in the direct messaging, which is just a little umbrella term for when people, you know, message you and they try to sell you on their MLM. It's usually the messages of like, hey, come join this fitness program with me, which can kind of be interpretive as you're fat. Or, hey, I sell like makeup or skin products and blah, blah, blah. Do you want to try some? Which is like, so you're calling me ugly. That's how I interpret it. Maybe there's something wrong with me and my personality of why I interpret things like that, but that's none of your business. It's really none of your business. Anyways.
I can't believe how jealous you get.
Oh, so you think I'm ugly?
What? Did I say she was ugly?
So do you guys like my new fancy laptop? It has like a little touch screen right here. So cool. I broke the bank to get this mother freaker. Okay, middle tier, it's a 50-50 if the products will work. The people in this tier are kind of 50-50. They can either be really mean or really nice, where you kind of like just feel bad for them, or they kind of just are unaware of what's happening. That's for this tier. And the next one up is someone you know / love joined, so you feel bad. More so for like your aunts or your mom or whatever, someone you love or someone that's very close to you joined this MLM and you want to help them out and tell them like, hey, that's basically a pyramid scheme. Get out while you still can, but you just don't know how to approach it. And the MLM is like something you never really heard of or something that's not really like in the main news of the FTC. And the top tier, which honestly, none of these tiers are particularly good to be in, but this one is definitely the best one, the one you would want to be caught in if you had to be caught in any one of these tiers. It's you don't support, but you remember the products being pretty good. And that's more so for companies that you didn't know were MLMs and the products weren't that bad. Let's go ahead and get started. First off, let's go ahead and do Beachbody. How about that? Beachbody, if you don't know, is an MLM where they sell like workout programs and this protein shake called Shakeology, or I don't even know what the heck it is, but they kind of like came about from selling like DVD workout plans and stuff like that back when DVDs were like still a thing. Am I right? Am I right? But now it's kind of just for people who want to be like fitness Instagram influencers, are just trying to sell you on Shakeology, which costs like so much money each month. I'm pretty sure like when you're in Beachbody, you have to buy Shakeology every month, and that racks up to like some number. I'll put the number right here. I'll pop it up on the screen. Also, I just don't like MLMs that kind of profit off of people being kind of insecure about their bodies, and that's really what the people in this MLM try to go for, are people who are kind of insecure about their bodies or may post on social media that they want to start working out but are having trouble keeping accountability, all that jazz. So they'll kind of tie those people in by saying, hey, like, come join my accountability group, when it's really just a group to try to sell Beachbody to people. I'm gonna have to put it in the bottom tier. Beachbody is honestly the worst. The worst. Beachbody is one of the most scummiest MLMs out of all of them, and not a lot of people know that Beachbody is an MLM, which is kind of scary. Paparazzi. If you don't know what paparazzi was, I did not know what paparazzi was until I started getting into like anti-MLM or started watching like anti-MLM stuff. But paparazzi sells jewelry, dare I say overpriced jewelry. I mean, that goes without saying, you know what I mean? Like paparazzi, but they're kind of known for like their jewelry being like not cute, and it's kind of like LulaRoe, but of jewelry. You know what I mean? Like, it's not cute, it's really cheaply made, and that's obvious. I'm gonna put this in I'm gonna put this in, it's 50-50 if the products will work or not, because I just don't feel right putting it in the tier below, because I don't know anyone from my high school that's in paparazzi. Usually it's kind of like towards moms of the world, and someone you know / love joined, so you feel bad. I'm not too sure about that one either. Maybe I might change that one later. Speaking of products that are cheaply made and aren't cute, next we have kuniq, which is very commonly known in the anti-MLM world as kuniq, because their products are literally poo-poo garbage. The people that usually sell kuniq, I'm just gonna say, like, they're not like beauty gurus, you know what I mean? Like, they aren't makeup artists. And that's not to say you have to be a makeup artist in order to be good at makeup. I'm just saying, if you're gonna sell makeup, you should know how to do makeup really well, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. I'm gonna put this in bullied you in high school and now thinks they're an influencer tier. Because although they're not giving nutritional advice, they are kind of giving makeup advice, and they have like no real credentials. So again, you don't have to have credentials to give makeup advice, but again, I must emphasize, if you are going to sell it, you gotta know about makeup, you know what I mean? Okay, next we have Beauty Counter, which I didn't know was an MLM. I feel like I've heard of it before. I didn't know it was an MLM. Now I do, for obvious reasons. I saw an ad for this. I was watching Hulu, and I saw a mother freaking ad for Beauty Counter. Beauty Counter is kind of a big one. They just did a collab with Sephora, and I haven't really heard personally about the people in Beauty Counter specifically, but considering they're kind of like skincare and like probably makeup and shit like that, because of that, I'm probably gonna put that in the same tier as kuniq, which is the bullied you in high school tier, because that's just kind of the vibe that they give me, you know? I'm sorry if you're in Beauty Counter and you're really nice, but that's the vibe I get. Beauty Counter, I don't know. I'm getting very like bullied you in high school vibes. Amway, and if you don't know what Amway is, it was like the first MLM. Listen, you can tell me a bazillion and gazillion times of what Amway sells, and I still wouldn't know what it sells if you asked me a week later. You know what I mean? Me and my boyfriend looked it up last night, and he said that they sell nutrition and like household item, like essentials, you know, like cleaners and stuff like that. Like they sell a little bit of everything. There are people that I know who have been in Amway or have been recruited to be in Amway but never really joined it or whatever. And their experiences was that, dare I say, like very pyramid scheming. Again, not saying that I'm not trying to get sued here. Not saying that MLMs are pyramid schemes. When the line is so blurred that you cannot even distinguish, that questionable. We should be able to question that, you know what I mean? From my friend's experience, they said that they went to like a meeting or whatever where they explained like, come join Amway and like this is why you should join Amway and yada yada yada. And they said it was very scary. The speaker was trying to like make everyone like chant. Everyone was overly nice. Very your high school student council, which I was also in, so trust me, I know. So I'm gonna put Amway in the bottom tier. Listen. They just give me very much like I'm a money hustler, but they haven't moved up in the company in like years. I just get that energy. So next we're gonna move on to Avon, which is another makeup MLM, and I'm pretty sure all of y'all have heard of Avon. It has been around for centuries, literally eons. This shit has been around for so long, and I remember my mom had some Avon, and when I was a kid, I would kind of play with her makeup, and I would use it, and I remember even as a kid, I was like, this shit is not good. Like, I remember an eyeliner I tried to put on me, like nothing was coming off. I was putting it all over me, literally nothing was coming onto my skin. Maybe they changed their formula now, who knows, but going off of what I remember, their products were still shit. I don't even know if Avon's really around anymore or if it's still being sold. That's how like irrelevant it is now, because it was really popular back in the early 2000s, the 90s. I'm gonna put this in someone you know / love. Join so now you feel bad. Okay, that seems fitting, right? Next we have Primerica. Now, if you haven't watched my video on my experience with MLMs, I'll put it up in the cards right here. Primerica was one of my first introductions to MLMs. I joined, but like I didn't really join. I mean, I guess you could say I joined, but I didn't do anything with it. Someone from my high school kind of told me about it. I met up with her and her boyfriend, and she was telling me about it. If you want to know the full story, watch that video. Long story short, I ended up giving $100 for like the starter pack or whatever. It was so stupid. She was explaining to me, and I still didn't even know what she was trying to tell me this thing was. And I straight up told her, I was like, I don't know anything about insurance. Why would I be selling insurance? And she was like, but you will learn how to sell insurance. And I was like, seems sus, but okay.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
My friend Jake actually told me, that's a freaking pyramid scheme. That's a scam. Please tell me you got out of that. And I was like, well, I never did anything with it. It's very near and dear to my heart, very nostalgic, because, you know, it was like one of my first introductions to MLMs. I'm gonna put this in the bottom tier for obvious reasons. Hey, what is that? Come here. My dog just freaking deep-throated all of this, or all these freaking flowers. Glacier Freeze or Bust. Next we have LulaRoe. Quite possibly the worst MLM because the products are shit and the people that run the company are also shit. If you don't know, there is a documentary on YouTube about LulaRoe. It's on Vice. It's called Why Women Are Quitting Their Day Job, or I don't know, something like that. I'll put it in the description box below. Very predatory. I want to put it in the bottom tier, but the people aren't necessarily mean. I'll put it in someone you know / love joined, so now you feel bad. Because normally it's like moms or your aunt or something like that, but I personally don't know anyone that's in LulaRoe, nor have I ever known anyone that's been in LulaRoe. But that's kind of the vibe that I get, is that it's like someone that I would be really close to, like a relative would probably join LulaRoe, and that would make me feel bad. Next we have Pure Romance. If you don't know what Pure Romance is, you're in for a treat. You really are. Let me just start this off by saying there's an MLM for everything. And Pure Romance is a prime example of that, because they literally sell like vibrators and dildos and like lube. Pure Romance is an MLM that sells lingerie, all the romantic, you know, jizz and jazz, you know what I mean? Literal jizz and jazz. Oh my god. I didn't even know that was not planned. Anyways, nothing is more awkward than being a Pure Romance consultant. Like, that's what, I just have to say that, because like, I'm sorry if you're in Pure Romance. It's not about being, oh my gosh, shy about like your sexual activity or whatever. The MLM's consultants by nature are very overly nice and overly excited about literally everything in the entire face of the planet. And so to just kind of be like, whoa, look at this freaking dildo, I use it all the time, it's just a lot, you know what I mean? Buy what you want, but sometimes you need to take it down a notch, you know what I mean? I'm gonna put this in the 50-50, because who knows if their products actually work. I don't know, for goodness sake. Norwex, which, if you don't know what Norwex is, it's another company, another brand that I didn't know was an MLM up until I started doing these MLM videos. My mom gave me these wipes and she was like, here, use these wipes. They're like reusable makeup wipes, and I would use them all the time in high school and a little bit up until college. During quarantine, like, everything came out onto the table, you know what I mean? I was reading this like anti-MLM subreddit, and I was like, Norwex, why does that name sound familiar? And I went to my drawer and I saw it. I saw that I had those makeup wipes, and they are Norwex. I don't know what is in them. I don't know if it's just like if there's chemicals in them or like the fabric or what, but that shit would actually work.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy this sin, not join them! Bring balance to the force, not leave it in darkness!
Or maybe it's just the act of me just like scraping off everything. Because I bet if I did that with any like wet towel, it'd probably work. I'm probably gonna put that in the top tier, only because I remember Norwex actually being pretty decent. Probably one you guys haven't heard of yet, but it's called Shakeology. I briefly mentioned it in my last video that I did, where me and my boyfriend make a tuna casserole. Shakeology sells everything under the sun. Vitamins, supplements, protein shakes, protein bars, cleaning products, makeup, moisturizers, skincare products. But I feel like their main focus are the nutrition stuff, so the vitamins and the supplements. If you don't know this about MLMs, you can make more money if you open up a store to sell the Shakeology stuff. The only conditions are you get like a certain percentage, and you can't have the name of the MLM on the storefront. You have to name it something else, and then when you walk inside, you're gonna see all of the Shakeology stuff. They did the same thing for Herbalife. You haven't watched that Betting on Zero documentary on Netflix? They talk about that in there. There was one of those in my hometown, and both of my sisters actually worked at that Shakeology store in my hometown. I'm gonna put this in the top tier as well, only because the products weren't that bad. And like I will always say till the day I die, you can buy the same or better products from any MLM for way cheaper literally anywhere else on the planet, which I have a whole ass video about that. I'll put that up in the cards too. Next we have Mary Kay. Mary Kay is one of the OG MLMs. The products weren't that bad. I went to a Mary Kay party. I'm gonna have to break down that entire party in a video one day because it was very like, wait, what's happening? And I was also like 16 at the time. But during that time, this girl was it was kind of sad, was very desperate to make a sale that she gave us like her discount for skincare bundle pack, which is also kind of rude because she was selling it to me and my sister who are teenagers at the time and are going through hormones. I'm gonna leave that at that. And she was like, oh yeah, here's the skincare package. Now looking back at it, like rude, okay. She gave us like the biggest discount, and not gonna lie, me and my sister used it and that facial cleanser was really good. There was a toner or something that was straight up rubbing alcohol or straight up acid. So wouldn't recommend that. I'm gonna put that in the top tier as well. I know Mary Kay is very problematic because they are shut down in like New Zealand and Australia, which is why it's perfect for that top tier because I don't support them, but the products were actually pretty decent. Next we have ColorStreet, which if you don't know what ColorStreet is, it is a nail polish MLM. More specifically, they sell the press-on nail stuff, the fake acrylic things, or it's just like a sticker. It's like a literal like nail polish sticker, and you put it on your nails and then you get the manicure. No offense to anyone who's in ColorStreet, I just really can't believe there's a whole MLM for this, a whole company where you try to sell literally nail polish stickers. I'm gonna put this in someone you know / love is in it and now you feel bad. It's one of those ones where you wouldn't really take a second look if you heard someone say, oh, I sell my own nail art designs and stuff like that. You'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Whereas if you heard someone say, like, I sell my own like vitamins and supplements, you'd be like, okay, probably an MLM. But if someone said, I sell my own nail polish or like nail press-ons or whatever, you'd probably think, oh, you probably make them yourself, but that ain't the case. It's not the most problematic MLM, that's for sure. Which actually, now looking back at it, fuck LulaRoe. We're putting it at the bottom tier. Next, from here on out, we have a game, doTERRA. I have very mixed feelings about doTERRA. My sister was very into doTERRA and more specifically essential oils, and because of that, she was kind of telling us about essential oils and all that jazz. She wasn't selling it. Because of that, we all kind of got into it as well. And then obviously I found out they were an MLM. I would put it in the don't support and remember the products being good, but now I'm kind of on a stance where essential oils they're a scam. That's the nicest way to put it. I think that they're scams. And also the fact that in order to make essential oils, they have to cut down a bunch of like landscape and trees and, you know, plants and stuff like that. But the main people who are kind of into essential oils are granola people who are trying to be really earthy and vibey and like high vibrational. I'm gonna put it in bullied you in high school. Now, not to say anybody that's in doTERRA now ever bullied me in high school. It's the fact that they think that they're very like granola, very hippie-ish with selling essential oils, and they don't have any actual evidence or statistics that can kind of show you the authenticity that these oils actually work for something. Again, there is a whole ass episode on Netflix on the series Unwell. The very first episode, they talk about essential oils, so I recommend watching that and taking that as you will. And I also, in my Should I Support MLMs video, there's also this clip that I watched in that video that I referenced of someone who was in doTERRA who kind of explained about like all the nooks and crannies of doTERRA, her experience for them, how shady it can be. Anyways, with that being said, let's move on to another essential oils company, Young Living, which is honestly somehow worse than doTERRA, because the people who started doTERRA took the idea from Young Living, or they were from Young Living or something. I don't know. And I don't even have to think about it. Young Living's bottom tier, and that's because the guy who found it, Gary Young, is a fake ass bitch and also killed his baby. So fuck him. It works. I feel like it's a pretty popular MLM. So basically they sell coffee that's gonna make you shit your pants, and then you'll lose all of that stubborn weight that you just can't seem to get off. It's the no credentials for me. So I'm gonna put it in bullied you in high school. This one is a very weird one. I really want to do a whole ass video about this one specifically because I saw a video from Anna's Analysis, which you guys need to check that channel out. She's amazing. She has 2 whole ass videos about this MLM, which is Cajun Water, which might be the biggest scam of all scams. They sell water ionizer machine that's literally like $5,000. Who would buy that? Who would buy that? Who has $5,000 to just literally the worst MLM you can probably be in, because how do you even sell enough to move up at all? Like that's wow. Okay, because of that, bottom tier. Next we have PartyLite, which is something you probably never heard of before, but I mentioned that in my experience with MLM videos. But my mom was actually in PartyLite for quite some time. Low-key, the products are pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. It's just the MLM for me. I'm gonna put in the don't support remembers the products being good tier. Pampered Chef, which I feel like belongs in that same category. I feel like everyone has a Pampered Chef product in their home. Don't get me wrong, there definitely are products that just like do not work. Along with that, we have, every time I think about Cutco, I have a very distinct memory of someone coming to our house to sell Cutco. I'm sorry, if someone shows up at my house with a bunch of knives, fuck off. One of the worst MLMs to go to like try to sell door to door. You're gonna show up at someone's house with freaking knives. I remember my mom buying them and they're like $100 or so. And I remember being like, oh, you got like that good shit. But now growing up and looking back at it, they're probably just knives. So I'm gonna put it in 50-50 of the products will work, because no one knows at this point. No one actually knows. Along with that, we have Tupperware. Looking at their logo, and it didn't age well. I'm gonna leave that at that. Very nostalgic. Everyone has some Tupperware thing, whether you like it or not. It's just containers. There's nothing special about it. I'm gonna put this in don't support, but the products were pretty good. It's literally just containers for your food, your leftovers. So the standards are pretty low. Next we have Rodan Fields. I actually didn't know Rodan Fields was started from the people who founded Proactive. They also did a collab with, I'm pretty sure it was Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is a very reputable, very high-end makeup company. Once everyone was like, Rodan Fields is an MLM, why is Anastasia doing a collab with them? They were like, oh shit, that shit is lame, and they canceled their collab with them. Obviously, not very good reputation for a big company like that to just immediately wipe any connection with them.
I hope I don't sound ridiculous. I don't know who this man is. I mean, he could be walking down the street, I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man. I'm
gonna put that in bullied you in high school, because literally someone who bullied me in high school was in it. Herbalife, which is also just immediately bottom tier. Fuck Herbalife. If you hadn't watched that Betting on Zero documentary on Netflix, watch it, because you'll understand. If you know, you know. Nu Skin. I have not even heard about until I started doing this whole thing. The people in Nu Skin are kind of known for being rude.
And stop constantly saying you're interested in a product and then I constantly message you and then you're constantly ignore me. Stop wasting my time.
For that, I'm gonna put that in the bottom tier. A classic, a fan favorite. One of our main ones, which is Arbonne. It's kind of difficult for me to know where to put Arbonne because Arbonne and Monet are kind of equal in my opinion. I'm having a really hard time with this, you guys. I'm gonna put it in Bullied You in high school. Now listen, there are a lot of people in Arbonne who are problematic. We're gonna leave that at that because Monet is really gonna be the deciding factor. I'm gonna put that bottom tier. Monet is honestly one of the worst MLMs, so it gets the lovely honor of being the worst MLM. That's my tier list. What do you guys think? What would you change? Where would you put certain ones? And I'm sorry, I couldn't get every single freaking MLM in here. I originally had a list of 33 and then I was like, listen, I have to cut this down because there's just so many. So in my last video where me and Tanner make a tuna noodle casserole, you will know I mentioned that we took pictures for our Christmas card, our very first Christmas card together. And I told you if it was gonna come in time that I would show you guys it. So, oh my gosh, here she is. It says Merry Christmas from Cameron, Tanner, and Sochi. And look at our little dog. I mean, tell me this isn't the funniest little Christmas card picture you've ever seen. It's just a nice picture. And it says, wishing you a happy New Year. Yeah, that's our Christmas card photo. I told you guys about it, but with that being said, please subscribe, please comment, please like, all that jazz. It really brightens up my day. It truly does. And as always, thanks for watching.